grounded and very centered in our clarity and our integrity, so that we will know how to respond, so that we can make the highest decisions, the most aligned decisions for our future, so that we can take big actions, because that big actions are really going to be supported right now. So, and very centered in our fabulous. So we're live on YouTube. So welcome everybody. Again, I am Jocelyn Starfeather, and I'm so excited to share this presentation with you today. It's going to be really powerful. So welcome everybody on Zoom and everybody watching on YouTube. So glad to have you here. Let me say hi to some of our people. So Jennifer in Florida. Hi, Rose. Are you in Austria? I think you are, Rose. Welcome. Welcome, Ron in Oregon. Marcel in Cape Town. Janine in San Diego, Erica in Ireland, Sage in Toronto, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Ruthie in the Apache lands, northern New Mexico, so beautiful, Ruthie. Welcome, Adrian in Ireland, Lori in Brooklyn, Janine in Yorkshire, UK, Leah in Vancouver Island, British Columbia. And everybody, welcome, 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 Victoria in Pittsburgh, Anna in Santa Cruz, Zuvuya, I love your name, in Port Angeles, Washington, John in Albany, Claire in the UK. Hello, Erhard in Denmark. Welcome. Good to see you here. Isa in France, Carol in Michigan, Lauren Rose in Paris, Anna in Portugal. Welcome, welcome. Valerie in Ireland, Patrice in New Mexico, Michael in South Africa, Roxana in Maryland, Susie in the UK. Well, I'm so glad to be here with all of you. And yeah, these are really potent times that we're entering into. So we're recording this today on October 8th, and we're going to be very changed by, say, February 8th, right? 4 or 5 months from now. We're going to feel different. Our lives are going to look different. And we want to be really optimally tuned in to work with these energies in a powerful way, right? Not to let them bowl us over. And I'll show you what I mean by this exactly as we go, right? Not to get bowled over, right? We don't want to be in a state of overwhelm. We don't want to let the chaos, right, infringe on what we're trying to do. Instead, we want to really beautifully come into alignment with these potent energies and be able to work with them, be able to catalyze the changes that are deeply needed in our lives, right? The things that we have known that we need to change for a long time are going to be coming up, and it's going to be time to make those changes. If we choose to do so, we will be very, very supported in that. So let me begin sharing with you my slides here, so I can show you in more detail all that I mean about that. And if you're watching over on YouTube, definitely go ahead and put your name and location in the YouTube chat. I'd love to see where you're zooming in from and YouTubing in from, from over there. So we have massive changes coming our way. And I want to share with you today how you can really become very comfortable with the uncertainty. Actually use the uncertainty as a tool to amplify your mission, to help you to co-create with the divine in beautiful ways. And I apologize for the barking, it's the dog next door here. And I've used for these slides, these background images of butterflies, because we are like butterflies right now. We are like somewhere between the stage of the caterpillar going into the cocoon. And, you know, when that happens, the caterpillar gets completely broken down into its imaginal cells, and it becomes a completely different form. The body structure of the caterpillar is completely different than the body structure of the butterfly. So we're really in this space where we are in the cocoon. We're about to break out of it and become the butterfly. We're about to be transformed. So it's a super potent time right now. So there are a lot of big energies at play. So Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto. And these are truly the most difficult and eye-opening planetary influences are going to be working intensively with us over these next 4 months. So here's what this will feel like. Okay, here are some key words of what this might feel like. So one is breakdown to breakthrough. Another one is just lots of uncertainty, right? There's going to be things coming up we didn't plan for, we didn't expect, and we will need to be able to shift and handle that. And I want to give you everything, all the tools to do that in the best possible way today, such as dogs barking next door, for example. So then there's this quote from astrologer Brian Coulter that I heard recently. He said, this will feel like making a peace treaty with chaos, right? Making a peace treaty with chaos, yes. This is also going to bring us back to deep integrity and honesty within ourselves. And our forward movement will be really supercharged. So I'm going to explain these dynamics first in astrological terms so you can see how potent it looks in the charts. And whether you are an astrologer or you know how to read charts or not, don't worry, you're going to get a feel for it. Even if you are not a chart reader, it's okay. It's going to be really clear and really strong when I show you. And it's just so strong in the charts from now through January, especially. And of course, we want to remember this is all in service to the higher plan, right? This is all in service to our highest good, our highest evolution. And so we're really going to be transformed in these coming months so that in 22, we can be bringing forward our gifts at a much higher level. Our relationships will have evolved to a much higher level. Our sense of self and courage and integrity and truth within is going to have evolved to a much higher level by the beginning of 2022. So it's really potent. So then after I show you the astrological view of it, then I'm going to share how you can work with this, how you can accelerate your clarity, your confidence, how you can make sure to set key actions into motion that might have seemed stuck or stalled until now, how you can really get things moving in your life in all the ways that you know you're meant to do. And like I was saying, when we're willing to do the work, if we're willing to make these changes now, we're going to really access huge potential for growth on all levels, transformation, up-leveling in our relationships, sharing our mission and purpose, right? But we need to have courage and a willingness to change. And when we do, we're going to be able to tap into those energies in a very positive way and really supercharge our co-creation with the divine. Now, this is a long list. We're going to do each of these in a more digestible way, but I just wanted to give you a list of all of these massive things that are happening in the coming months, okay? And these are almost all involving Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto, these heavy hitters. And I'll explain to you in detail what each of them are saying to us. And then we also have Mercury retrograde, which we're in right now from September 27th to October 18th. And we're going to have a Venus retrograde in Capricorn, and she's going to be with Pluto for that whole time from December 18th to January 28th. So really super big energies coming up. So let me show you in more detail. So here's the new moon that we just had on October 6th. And you can see here in this chart, the sun and moon are in Libra with Mars. Mars is here, the circle with an arrow, sun and moon, and Mercury very close by. And all of these planets, see the red line here? All of these planets are square to Pluto. Pluto is a major player this autumn. There are going to be so many new moons and full moons and other major planetary aspects squaring Pluto or having conjunctions with Pluto, as you'll see. And so once you see all these transits on the charts, then I'm going to tell you what's Pluto saying to us, right? What's Mars saying to us? What's Uranus saying to us? Now, Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter have been retrograde for a long time, for a lot of this year, but they are all three going direct in October. Pluto went direct yesterday, October 7th. Saturn is going direct on October 12th, and Jupiter is going direct on October 18th. Now, what this means is huge forward movement with things that have been stuck for most of the year. And that's really big for us. And I'm going to move through these charts fairly quickly. It's just that I want you to have the visual and understand all of the ways that these 4 planets, okay, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto, are coming into play every single month, every day, pretty much. But I'm highlighting the full moons and new moons because those are really big energy points for us. So here we have Mars and the sun. You can see on the slide here, Mars with the sun, very directly squaring Pluto. Okay, Pluto being about 25 Capricorn. They're both very close to 25 Libra. Also trine Jupiter. That's the blue line here. Blue lines are good. Red lines are difficult. Okay, so they're both trine Jupiter, which is helpful. That's a little bit of lightening of energy there. And also Mercury in this chart for this October 20th full moon has just turned direct and is trining Saturn. Okay, so making this blue line here to Saturn. That's a helpful energy too. So the second half of October is going to feel a little easier following this full moon. That's important to know. But the intensity ramps up again soon after that. So I'm skipping ahead a little bit because this is the prime intensity point of this whole upcoming 4 months. November 19th, it's going to be an eclipse. First of all, the sun will be at 27 Scorpio here. The moon will be at 27 Taurus. Okay, and you know that eclipses are always times of significant change. So you'll want to look at your chart and see what planets do you have in Scorpio, what planets do you have in Taurus. Those are going to be most directly impacted by this eclipse for you. But for all of us, eclipses are times of change and transformation. So we have with this eclipse, the sun and Mercury. So the sun being here, Mercury is this green little guy here on the south node, very close to the south node, which is at 1 degree of Sagittarius. And then, so the south node indicates karma. The south node is difficult energy as well. It's bringing up things from the past that we may not want to see, that we may not want to look at again, and putting them right in front of us because we need to work with them. We need to heal them, right? That's why it's here. That's why it comes up. Then we have the moon with the north node, and they are in a trine, which is in a favorable position, but with Venus and Pluto here in Capricorn. And also Uranus is trine Venus and Pluto. So this is the Plutonian energies coming in again. Okay, and we also have strong south node energies, and we have an eclipse. Now, not only that, but at this time, and I actually don't have it written on the slide, but this is really important. Mars is opposing Uranus. Okay, so Mars in Scorpio is opposite Uranus in Taurus. And that is a very significant energy. Now, for anyone born in 1977, 78, and 79, you are also having your Uranus return. I'm sorry, your Uranus opposition this year, where your Uranus is in somewhere in the middle degrees of Scorpio in your birth chart. This is true for me as well. I'm born in 78. And so your Uranus in the birth chart is being opposed by Uranus in the middle degrees of Taurus in the sky. Uranus here is at 12 Taurus. My Uranus is at 12 Scorpio. So this is my exact Uranus opposition, and Mars is on Uranus. Okay, Mars is on my natal Uranus and will be on your natal Uranus if you're born in one of those years, 77, 78, or 79. And Mars is also opposing the actual transiting Uranus in the sky. So really, really big Mars-Uranus energies. And that is challenging. Okay, I'm going to explain that in more detail once we get past the charts here. Then we're going to have on December 4th, another eclipse. This will be a new moon eclipse where the sun and moon are together. They are together in Sagittarius at 12 degrees of Sagittarius here. With this chart, we have Mars, again, very close to the south node, squaring Jupiter. That's a difficult aspect, Mars and Jupiter facing off. We also have Saturn squaring Uranus. Saturn here in Aquarius, squaring Uranus in Taurus. And we have that solar eclipse going on at 12 degrees Sagittarius, very close to Mercury. Okay, but again, want to highlight the influence of the Mars, the Saturn, the Uranus. They are these major, major players that are going to be coming in with critical aspects again and again and again. Okay. Then on December 19th, we have a full moon. We're done with the eclipses now. Those were 2 eclipses on November 19th and December 4th. That will be extra intense because of the eclipse energy. Now we're back to just a regular full moon here, but we have Mars even more directly on the south node and squaring Jupiter. And we have Venus, the green here, the circle with a cross beneath, going retrograde the day before this. On December 18th, she goes retrograde directly on Pluto, directly conjunct Pluto. Plutonian energies again. And this Venus retrograde with Pluto is going to continue all the way through January 28th. She retrogrades for a long time. Now let's look at January. We have 2 charts to January, and I know I'm flying through these, but again, it's just to give you a feeling of all the transits with Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto. It's really strong. So January 2nd, we have a new moon, first new moon of the new year. And in this chart, we have the sun and the moon here at 13 degrees of Capricorn. Nearby, we have Venus and Mercury both conjunct Pluto. Venus is still retrograde. Mercury is about to go retrograde in this chart. Both conjunct Pluto. Again, the Pluto, the heavy hitter here. We also have Mars in Sagittarius, square Neptune. This is the shattering of illusions, Mars square Neptune. And then we also have Saturn here squaring Uranus. The Saturn and Uranus square just goes on and on and on, as you can see. Now, the last chart I'm going to show you today is the January 17th full moon. So the first full moon of the new year. In this one, the sun is directly conjunct Pluto. Pluto is playing such a heavy role here in these coming months. And Venus retrograde is here. Venus in retrograde is here. Mercury in retrograde is here, both of them very close by. And Saturn is still square Uranus. Okay, so what does all this mean? Okay, let me explain. I'm going to actually start with Pluto because he's such a heavy and strong and important energy for us to pay attention to in these charts. So you saw all those aspects to Pluto, Venus with Pluto, the new moons with Pluto, many, many squares and trines to Pluto. So Pluto asks us, what needs to be transformed? And Pluto tells us that parts of you must die in order for you to be born again. This is about shamanic initiation. So we're going to be shown, we're going to be seeing in our lives, what is it that we need to let die, right? That we need to release, we need to abandon, maybe we need to sacrifice, we need to give it up, let go, so that we can fully live, so that we can move forward into our purpose, into our conviction, into our true power. Because we're needed now, right? Pluto is saying, you are needed now. Step into your full potential, let go of all that which has been holding you back, all that's been weighing you down. Let it die, let it go. And he's saying that no more denial or delay will be permitted. So this is a very strong message, and he's going to say it to us again and again and again at all those times, right? When we saw all of those transits to Pluto. So every time that you see a transit to Pluto, it takes on different shades and different colors, you know, based on what the planet is that's transiting to Pluto, right? And what sign that planet is in. But Pluto is in Capricorn, standing steady and taking all of these aspects in. And this is his core and essential message to us, right? What do you need to let die, to abandon, to sacrifice, to release, so that you can fully live your truth, your conviction, and your power? Okay, so this is extremely important for us to remember over these coming months. It's going to come up again and again and again. And so the invitation here is be ready to let things go. Be ready to not cling, to not be attached, to really trust in the larger, the bigger picture that's moving through, to really trust in the tough questions you're being asked in your life, right? And make decisions, which Mars and Saturn are going to help us with that. I'll tell you in a minute, but make decisions from the highest possible frequency of what you're going to let go, what you're going to keep, and how you're going to move forward. And then Pluto will bless you because you have succeeded in this shamanic initiation, right? You have said yes, you have let things fall away, you have let things die, you're ready to move forward. And then you're going to be able to share your conviction and your power in incredible new ways. So that's what we want to be moving into with all these lessons from Pluto. Now, here are Mars and Saturn. Let me share next what they are saying to us. So Mars is the god of war. And so he's not playing around. he's not kidding, okay? And he is here to give us willpower and motivation. And he is like the accelerator pedal in your car. He accelerates things. So his message to us is take up your courage, take up your sword, and ignite your power. Kind of not so different from what Pluto is saying, but with Mars, it's really about our willpower, our motivation, our ability to move forward. Now, when Mars is square to Neptune, which he was earlier this year, and he's going to be again there in January, he's calling upon us to shatter the crippling illusions. All the things that we've been told that are not really true, just shatter it. Don't put your faith in that anymore. Okay, all the lies that you have been told, right? Or maybe the identities that you've been given by others that are not really true about you. Maybe the belief systems that you believed for a long time and you're realizing that's not real, actually. That was never true. It's time to shed that. It's time to shatter it. It's time to let it go. And Mars is very much about courage and taking action, as anyone who is the god of war would need to be, right? Courage and taking action. And he encourages us to move forward on things, especially where we've held back or where we've hesitated before, or maybe we haven't been able to find the courage before. He's here and he is playing such an active role in these coming months that he's going to help us find that courage. He's going to help us know how to take action. So he says, now is the time. Do what you must. Do what you know you must do. But, and Saturn reinforces this but as well, act with wisdom. Do not be reckless or you will regret it. So Mars, the shadow side of Mars is recklessness, okay, is anger, is overreaction, is getting revenge, right? These kinds of things. And so we don't want to fall into that shadow side of Mars. And it can be tempting or easy to do so when we're in such catalyzing times, right? But we want to be really careful to be acting with wisdom. And once we move through these planetary voices, I'm going to tell you how to do that, okay? A lot more about how to do that. So you want to really act with wisdom and don't be reckless. Because as Saturn's going to tell us, what we are creating now has long-lasting and far-reaching repercussions. So if we're reckless now, we're going to regret it later. And we don't want to put ourselves in that position. So we want to be very clear. We need to cultivate our truth and integrity within. Not anybody else's truth and integrity, our own, your own integrity within, so that you will be reaping the benefits of your actions months from now throughout 2022, not regretting reckless actions. Okay, now Saturn. Saturn is the planet of time, structure, and tough lessons. And he slows us down. Now, the benefit of this is with Saturn on our side, we have the ability to achieve concrete and long-lasting results. He gives us that ability, but it's if we play by his rules. It's if we take the time to build a good structure. It's if we take the tough lessons and really integrate the lessons learned. Then he will gift us with the achievement of concrete and long-lasting results. And Saturn is like the brake pedal in the car. Okay, so Mars is like the accelerator, Saturn is the brake. What Saturn is calling upon us to do is to collapse the old systems and constructs that no longer hold promise for us, and enter into new timelines, or even create new timelines so we can build the future structures of reality. But all of this comes with a big caution from Saturn. We have got to learn from the past. So Saturn's about time. He's also very much about looking back to the past and what lessons did we learn? So we've got to learn from the past. We've got to look at our patterns that we know we need to break, and then choose very carefully what actions we're going to take, what we're going to build going forward. And because like this is a message from Saturn, that's the last bullet point I have there under Saturn, but really this is extremely much more highly emphasized right now in these next 4 months, because not only Saturn is involved, we have Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Uranus, and I'm not even getting into Jupiter in this presentation, but Jupiter as well, Mercury retrograde as well, Venus retrograde as well. Like all of these major transits are happening. So emphasize even more, what we do now will have long lasting and far reaching repercussions. So it must be fully aligned. It must be coming from a place of deep clarity and certainty. It must come from our place of highest integrity, or we will regret it. Okay, that message is going to come through again and again and again. What we do now has got to be absolutely of the highest vibration. And truly, this is how we're building the future, right? This is how we're achieving the concrete and lasting results we've been waiting for. We've got to do it the right way. Now, Mars and Saturn, when they come together, the positive side of them coming together is efficiency, right action, and solid results. And that's what we want to create. So there's huge potential for that right now. Now, Mars and Saturn together, the shadow side that I don't have on the slide here is it is delays, frustrations from Saturn, anger, and confrontation from Mars. Let's not fall into that, right? And so there may be times when Mars and Saturn are coming up very strongly in the aspects in the skies where we may feel ourselves falling into anger and confrontation, or blaming, or making others wrong, right? That's all Mars, the shadow side of Mars. So we want to be really aware and conscious when that starts coming up, to redirect that energy, to maybe have a tough conversation, but in as peaceful a way so it has a positive outcome. We do not want to amplify these energies of blaming and making others wrong and being angry and being in conflict. It's not going to serve us right now. Sometimes conflict is necessary. Sometimes we need to have those tough conversations, but we don't want to stay stuck in that, right? We want to have that and move through. So what we're going for here with Mars and Saturn is efficiency, right action, and creating solid and long-lasting results. Okay, so then there's one more of these big heavy hitters that I need to share with you what they're saying to us, and that is Uranus. So Uranus is about what we want or need to change in our lives. And it's also about coming out of the closet. Okay, so truths coming out, truths coming to the surface that we didn't see coming, that we never imagined. And Uranus also encompasses shock and surprise, revelation and revolution. So Uranus is saying to us, no action is too shocking. No words are too strong. No revolution is unjustified as long as they originate from the clarity of the heart. Right? So again, it's like we can take really strong actions right now, but it's got to be aligned. We can do something shocking, surprising, as long as it's not reckless, as long as it's well thought out and fully aligned with your integrity. Do it, right? Now is the time. Uranus is also telling us that every single aspect of our world is in flux. And he encourages us to take the action that will change everything. But remember, the lessons from Saturn and Mars, that action cannot be reckless. It cannot be rushed. It must be aligned with our highest integrity. So these are some really strong messages from these planets, right? Really potent. And these heavy hitter planets are going to be demanding change from us in the coming months, whether we want to change or not. And that may seem intimidating, okay? It may seem challenging, and it is going to be intense as all this rolls through. But really, there's very good news here. And that is that for those of us who are ready for change, and I'm guessing if you're watching this, if you're still on the call, if you're still watching the replay, right? You're ready. You are welcoming the change. You are willing to do the inner work because you want to be ready to make those super clear decisions. You don't want to be reckless, but you want to make big changes. And that will be extremely supported right now. So now I'm going to share some tips with you to ensure that you have everything that you need to develop the highest levels of clarity, to develop that profound depth of integrity within, so you can make the big decisions that will be needed in the coming months, take the important actions, and even make the big leaps that are really going to transform your life. So I'm going to share with you 3 key ways to become comfortable and familiar with uncertainty. So here they are, the 3 of them, in one slide together, and then we're going to go into more detail about each of these. And I invite you to have a journal or notebook nearby, because there are a couple little journaling exercises I'll recommend that you can write. You can take notes about them and then do them after the call is done. That are really powerful. That are going to help you get very, very clear and really come into your deepest integrity. So the first is to establish a regular practice of finding your truth within, and I'll tell you a lot more about that. The second is to cultivate clarity and discipline instead of doubt and separation. I'll share with you really powerful, 2 actually really powerful practices for that. And 3 is to look for the magic and receive the sacred instructions. And, you know, the more that we can become comfortable and familiar with uncertainty, the easier it's going to be to navigate. So the practices I'm going to share here, I really recommend that you start doing them regularly, and just really anchor into them. Let them be your ground, let them be your roots and your foundation through the coming months. Now I'm going to change the view here. Okay. Let me just look in the chat and see how everybody's doing. Kundi, thank you for this beautiful comment. Beautiful. So glad you found the video through synchronicity. Love it. And yes, you are the magic. Yes, yes. Aho. Beautiful. And Deep Shisha is asking any important messages around 2/2/2022. That will be in a future video that I do, so hang on for that, because there are important things coming up in February 2022, and those numbers are very significant. So thank you for asking. That'll be a future video. And yes, I will make these slides available. I'll send these slides out to everybody, don't worry. And I'll post them below this. If you're watching this as a replay on YouTube, the slides will be posted right below in the description. Okay, thank you for the beautiful comments, everybody. So, establishing a regular practice of finding your truth within. Now, this is an extremely powerful time that we're in for cultivating our own truths. And that's because so many, quote, truths are being thrown at us right now, right? And we really can't possibly take in all of those other opinions, because if we did, we would be getting swayed one way and then the next way and then a totally different way, right? If we were letting all those opinions in. And they're not all truths. Maybe some of them are, maybe not. We don't know, right? We also don't want to get polarized into thinking that one way is right and another way is wrong, right? Or one group of people is right and another group of people is wrong. We have this going on in so many ways in the world. But for example, to bring up a really polarizing topic, vaccines, right? Some people think that everyone who got the vaccine is mistaken. Other people think that everyone who didn't get the vaccine is mistaken, right? This is how we make each other wrong. But what about all the different health concerns involved, right? What about our agency to make our own most aligned decision? What about being concerned for the others around us, right? There's so many factors to consider. There is not a black and white, right or wrong. So how can we come into a place of trusting and honoring one another for the decisions that have been made? So in any case, we each of us in our own integrity, right, in our own life, within our own self, we've got to really be very aware and protect ourselves against the flip-flop of taking in all the opinions, against the stuckness of thinking only one way is right. And what's really best and healthiest for us at this time is to stop watching the news, okay? Stop reading the posts on Facebook that are polarized or politicized or that people are paying for you to see, right? And just stop worrying about all of these external influences that are barraging us and barraging our awareness and our consciousness. We need to go within. We need to find the truth within. This is the only real way anymore to get the news, okay, is to go within and find what is true for me. What is my deepest integrity? What are my highest values that I hold? And then really getting clear and centered in that. Really anchoring into that, growing deep, deep roots around that so that you know in all situations what you need to do. You know what your highest and most aligned decision is, no matter what crazy scenarios are thrown at you. I want to invite all of you over these coming months, starting right now, because it's already happening, to really cultivate that kind of clarity. Now, what I recommend is to sit outside at sunrise if you possibly can. Now, I know that's not available for everybody, but if you can get outside, I've been doing this every day right here. That way is east, the sun comes up through the trees, shines through the leaves on the trees. It's absolutely so beautiful. It's so worth getting up early, able to take that in. Now, if you can't get outside, then do you have an east-facing window in your home, right, where you can gaze out and focus on the sun? And if you can't do that either, then just go into a meditative state wherever you are, facing toward the east, and know that the sun is rising over there. And what we want to do with this practice is to take in the light of the sun through our eyes, or if you're not in a place where you can see the sun, take in the light of the sun through the third eye when it is still fairly low on the horizon. And we can actually eye gaze with the sun. We can gaze directly at the sun when it's low on the horizon because it's not too intense yet. It won't harm your eyes at that point in time. And it is extremely powerful to let that golden solar light flow in through your eyes, through your third eye. You can also, I recommend imagine it like flowing in, cascading in through your crown chakra and just filling you up. And you can imagine every one of your chakras as this beautiful glowing ball of radiant golden light. And just sit with this, right? Allow all of that light to illuminate the part within you that already knows. So especially if you have a difficult decision to make, or if you're in a challenging situation, maybe in your relationship or in a career, or just if you feel everything is changing around you, like the tectonic plates are shifting below you, right? Just sit for at least 5 or 10 minutes every morning with this golden light of the rising sun. And just imagine that that part of you within that already knows, maybe you see that in your heart, maybe you see that in your solar plexus with your personal power, right? Trust what you see that feels right for you. But allow that light to illuminate the part of you that already knows what to do, that's already clear, and allow that light to strengthen and purify your own inner clarity and certainty and integrity on all levels. Because we each hold profound wisdom and intuition within ourselves. We each have the ability to receive the knowledge from the trees, from the stars, from the planets, from the earth, and integrate that into our awareness, into our consciousness. Again, where are we getting the news from? Let's get the news from within our hearts, from the stars, from the trees, from the earth. These are the beings that really know what's going on. And then we don't need the news. We don't need the internet. We don't need the neighborhood gossip, right? We want to really just amplify that inner knowing, let it be illuminated by the golden light from the cosmos. And as we sit every day like this, we're going to get more and more and more clear on what is really true and become less and less dependent on whatever is going on out there. Now this, in the coming months, whatever's going on out there could get really crazy, because of course these transits are not just happening for each of us personally, they're happening on the collective. So the Mars, right, conflict, Saturn, difficulty and challenge, right? All of these things might be playing out, but you can't let that disturb your inner truth, your inner peace, your inner wisdom, and the knowing that you are moving in the right direction. You are making big decisions and big forward momentum for your future, right? When you are grounded and centered in that integrity within, these shockwaves out here can't really hurt you. They can't really affect you so much. And even if they do, you'll be calm and centered and you'll know what to do. You'll know how to respond. Okay, I'm going to read to you a quote from Archon Lishwala that I find really powerful. And this will be, well, here, I'll bring up the slide with the quote so you can see it on the screen. So I'm reading the first quote now. Our heart is connected to the heart of Mother Earth, and her heart is connected to the heart of the universe. In the universe, everything is connected, and all the hearts are bound by threads of light. In the end, everyone knows the truth. The access to this memory and the experience that we have when the state of amnesia is over is what the indigenous people call vision. This is what we hold within us, this kind of memory. Okay, and again, if you're on this call, I know that for you, the state of amnesia is over. You are ready to receive the visions. You are ready to access that inner knowing in a deeper way than ever before. Right, and so this is what we want to do now at this time. Find your truth within. Let that guide you. Don't get sidetracked by what's going on externally. Now, the second way that we can work optimally with these energies, and these are going to build on each other. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, they're going to build on each other. The second way is to cultivate clarity and discipline instead of doubt and separation. Now, we may think that external events are throwing us into doubt and separation. But truly, like I was just saying, right, we actually get to choose. We actually get to choose to not get taken out by those external events. And we truly can choose clarity and discipline instead. So I invite you to know with certainty that you are perfectly designed to carry out your unique mission and purpose in this lifetime. Know that with certainty, okay? Know that with absolute clarity. Now, I want to give you an exercise that my guides gave to me about a year ago. And I recommend writing this down in your journal or your notebook. Just take a little couple pages for this, and then go ahead and do this immediately after the call, because it's really powerful. So you're going to make 2 lists. So maybe 2 pages, okay? On the top of one, write my strengths. And on that page, you're going to write down all of your strengths. Everything you could think of that's your strengths. On the other page, you're going to title that one my weaknesses. You're going to write all of your weaknesses. Okay? Then, and like really go fully into this, right? Write down all the things that have, that you perceive to be your weaknesses. Then when you're done filling out both lists, both pages are full, you're going to take that second page, you're going to cross out weaknesses, and you're going to write strengths. Okay, paradigm shift here. What if your weaknesses actually make you absolutely perfect to carry out your highest mission here in this lifetime? Okay, what is it? I'm too quiet, right? I procrastinate. What are your weaknesses? Write them down. And now take another look at them. What if this is actually a strength? What if you are actually absolutely meant to be this way, and this is serving your highest good? Because remember, you are perfectly designed for exactly what you're here to do in this lifetime. And this is an invitation to come into a much deeper level of trust with our own selves, to stop judging ourselves for who we really are, to come into radical acceptance and actually see with certainty how those weaknesses are actually meant to propel you to even greater heights. Okay. I'll just share this with you on a personal note, right? For me, I'm an introvert. Okay. I do these videos. I love teaching, right? I love sharing, but I'm an introvert. It takes a lot of energy for me to do this, right? It takes a lot of energy for me to teach the classes and all. And so I could put that down as a strength, right? As a weakness, sorry. I'm too quiet, right? Because generally in life, I'm very quiet in social situations and things like that, right? I could put I'm an introvert, but actually, do you know what? That helps me to show up in a really powerful way when I make these videos, and a way that is not ego driven, that is not trying to like triumph or proclaim things in a super loud way, right? And I know you all feel that from me, right? Whatever my energy is, part of what the reason that you tune into my videos, right, is because I'm a little quiet. I'm a little introverted. And actually that is contributing to my purpose, right? So really, really do this exercise. Go back and look at your weaknesses once you've written them all out, and look at how you can actually flip them, and they might actually be a strength. It's a really powerful thing to do. Okay. And all of this is to cultivate your certainty, your clarity that you are perfectly designed to carry out your mission and purpose in this lifetime. Now, another practice you can do that I recommend is this one, which is on the slide here. Write down what you know to be true. Just take a couple pages in your notebook and just, again, do this after the call is over here. Write down what you know with certainty about yourself. What do you know to be true? And then continue on and write down what you know with certainty that you will do in the future. And make these some really big and beautiful goals. And claim that certainty. Make a commitment now, today, as you write this list, to make those future events become reality. Again, we are supercharged with energy to make things happen in these coming months. Right? So with these transits coming up, take action on those things that you'll do in the future much sooner than you ever thought you could. Prove it to yourself. Prove that certainty to yourself. Okay, really powerful practice. Now the next and the third and final tip that I'm going to share with you today is to receive the sacred instructions. And when you receive them, Respond enthusiastically to the universe. So the sacred instructions are how the universe talks to us. And as any of the people living in ancient times would tell you, as probably many indigenous people will tell you today, right? Shamans, those who are deeply steeped in the fact that everything is alive, everything is talking to us, right? And I'm sure many of you in your practices, right? This is certainly my truth, is that we are actually being given very clear directions to follow all the time. All the time, we're being given everything we need to know, all the information we need, all the clarity, all the instructions. But, and this is how these steps build on each other, we need to do step 1 and step 2 that I described here first, or similar practices to those, in order to be clear enough and a clear channel and an open heart and an open channel, enough so to receive them. So I would love to hear in the comments, right, here on Zoom as well as on YouTube, are you receiving the sacred instructions clearly in a way that you can understand them, in a way that you know how to carry them out? Okay, I would love to hear. Please do put that in the chat. Are you receiving the sacred instructions? Now, if you are, fantastic. Please make sure you're responding enthusiastically to the universe. If you're not getting them clearly, right? If the visions are not coming through, or they're not coming through in a way that you can understand, just know that it's okay. You want to cultivate what I was talking about in step 1 and step 2, and the sacred instructions will begin to open up for you. Now, something that's really important here, and let me check in the chat here. So Heidi says, yes. Erica says, I don't understand them sometimes. Yes, so that's what I was going to say next. Sometimes the sacred instructions are either put in a way that we can't clearly discern what they're saying, or they might seem impossible, or they might seem completely crazy. And I just want to let you know that all of those are normal. So if that's the case, don't worry, just stay with it. I'll give you more tips about that. Maria says, yes, I have been. Rose says, no. Adrian says, yes. Patrice says they keep getting more clear. Yeah, over time, they would get more and more clear. Michelle says, I'm not getting the messages clearly. Yes, well, don't worry, Michelle. Stay with it. You will, you will. Deepshka says, that's where I could use support at this point. Yes, yes, absolutely. Maria, I need to surrender. Yes, that is so important. Chris says, yes, I'm receiving sacred instructions and I love what they tell me. It may seem crazy to others, but not to me. Michael says, yes. Valerie says, hard to hear them through the pain. Yes. And yes, sometimes not able to fully follow through. Claire says, can get a bit noisy and intense. Yes. Well, that means you're really receiving them, Claire. So that's good. But yes, I hear you. Ruthie, if I lie directly on the earth or stand or sit in a stream, I hear more and know more. Yes. Beautiful. So really important to know about the instructions are that they can be about any aspect of our life. Okay, so often we want to receive the instructions either when we have a really big, tough question we're dealing with, or often related to mission and purpose, right? But really, they can come in about anything that's going on right now. And they usually are concerning whatever is most urgent, right? Whatever needs to change, or if the universe needs to prompt you to begin something, to start a new project, then they will start coming in. Or maybe the universe is wanting to send you new understandings that you need to have in order to move forward in a different way. So I will say, the more that you can have a regular meditation practice, or a regular shamanic journeying, or even a regular yoga practice, right? A regular practice where you're going in, where you're going into the depths and really opening up, right? Such as if you sit with your morning sun meditation, like I said in tip number 1 here today. That is a time that the sacred instructions are likely to start arriving if you're doing that kind of thing regularly. Now, they might seem very nebulous. They might seem impossible. They might seem crazy. It might be something, you might be told to do something that if you did that, all your family and friends would think you're completely nuts. And so maybe you're not ready to do it today, but the important thing is to say yes and to trust. Because even if it seems completely crazy to you today, remember the world is changing very fast. So 3 months from now or 6 months from now or a year from now, if you just say yes to it today, just let the universe know you receive this and you accept the mission, even though you don't know how yet, right? But 3 months or 6 months or a year later, it might become very clear how to do that. And it might not seem so crazy, or maybe you don't care if they think you're crazy anymore, right? Things shift and change rapidly these days. So really trust. I'll share with you a few of the ones that I've received, right? So I once had the sacred instructions that told me you need to go to New Mexico. And Ruthie, you're in New Mexico. A few people on our call are in New Mexico. You know how magical it is there. But I had a little baby who had just been born, and then a 3 or 4 year old. And I was just trying to make it in my corporate job at that time, right? And that seemed completely preposterous to me. But I could feel how important it was. And this is the thing about the sacred instructions. They feel different than just an insight we got or that, breakthrough idea in the shower, right? It's different than the other information coming in. We know when it's the sacred instructions, it feels different. It feels amazing. So I could feel the importance of that. You need to go to New Mexico. And I said yes. And even though I didn't know how, and from there, literally just the stars aligned and this opportunity to go to New Mexico opened up that I never would have expected. And from the time that I landed and stepped onto the ground in New Mexico, literally everything in my life changed within a few years after that. Right. So this is the kind of instructions I'm inviting you to really pay attention to. And don't be discouraged if it seems crazy. Just stay with it. If it feels like truth to you, if you're receiving some instructions and they feel like truth to you, it's really important to just say yes, right? And you can even go outside and just say to the universe, yes, I accept this mission, even though I have no clue how or when or where or why, right? It's okay. Just say yes. And if you can take action on it, then do so in the best way that you can. Right? And just trust that the next steps are going to come, and then the next steps are going to come, and the next steps are going to come. At receiving the instructions, that's okay too. We're all at different points on this journey, right? So that is absolutely perfect for you right now. And the best thing I can tell you is to do step 1 and step 2 that I shared today. And those instructions will open up for you. And we want to really keep our eyes open and our ears open and our third eyes open to all the ways the universe might be speaking to us. Because your sacred instructions could arrive through birdsong, right? Or they could arrive through a word that you see on somebody else's license plate. They could come through in a dream. It could come through when you're having a conversation with your neighbor and something they say just attunes your attention to a very different perspective, and then the instructions can come in. So really keep your antennas up and you'll know when it arrives. You'll know when it's the sacred instructions, because they carry a certain intensity of energy, right? So when the sacred instructions come through, you might get full body chills, or you might just be kind of just have to pause for a moment to take in the depth of what just came through. So whatever those instructions are, really trust them, know that they're important, and say yes and take action on them in the best way that you possibly can. And be patient with yourself. Sometimes we have to take baby steps, and that's fine. And that's beautiful. So one more quote I'll read to you about the sacred instructions. And really the sacred instructions is entering into what I call magic, which is just synchronicities and events that are like beyond what our logical minds can understand or fully comprehend, right? So here's another quote from Archon Lashwala. Grandfather Eagle told us that life is real only when it is full of magic. He said that, contrary to what most people believe, to live surrounded by magic is what is normal, and that the lack of magic is a clear symptom of not having the full heart awake. The natural magic of life, when present, appears constantly in life circumstances, in the places where we are, and with the people who we meet. And this is just so powerful, right? That to live surrounded by magic is what is normal. Yes, oh, absolutely, right? The sacred instructions are continually being streamed into us. We just need to awaken our hearts so we can hear them, so we can receive them. And then we'll know what to do, right? So these 3 steps that I've given you today are like deepening levels of being able to be so calm and centered and grounded within yourself that you will know. You will be fully connected to your inner knowing, your certainty in all scenarios, right? So these events are going to rock our world, or, you know, surprising things that may happen for you personally. It can't disturb you in the way that we sometimes fear, right? You will know how to respond. You will know what to do. You will know the highest action, and you'll be able to shift. And like Pluto says, right? Let the things die that need to die. Let the things go so that you can go on to live the fullest life. It's going to be really important in this time to come. Now, I want to share with you all something really powerful and exciting that is new, that I am super excited to announce. And after I announce this and tell you a little bit about it, then we're going to do a shamanic journey into the life between lives, which is going to be really powerful. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And I'm looking at just a couple comments here. June says, when I receive the instructions, it's like an electric shock shooting through my body. Yes. And, you know, as you get more familiar with receiving them, anybody who's just starting with this, right, you will know that feeling. You will get to know that feeling really well. It's very distinctive. Of course, it's a little bit different and unique for each of us. But really, it's very clear. Once you recognize it, you're like, okay, just got some more instructions. Yes, okay, I say yes. Beautiful. Okay, yes, trust is so important. Yes, absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful comment here. Yeah, the instructions can very often come through dreams, right? It depends what kind of a dreamer you are. Some of us have more dreams about that kind of tell the future. Others can have more dreams with the instructions. Also, if you have recurring dreams, like I have recurring dreams that I'm in a group of people, we're traveling around the world together and we're working on a project. And to me, this is related to my work because I'm reaching people all around the world, right? We're doing these important consciousness shifting activities together. So I feel like then in my dreams, we're like all still working together and continuing the things that we were doing during the day. So they can absolutely come through the dreams. Okay, so let me share my other screen here. So I have a new program that is starting next Friday that I'm so excited about. And this, you guys know, if you follow me for a while, sometimes these are sacred instructions, right? These courses that I create, these are sacred instructions. This is something that is coming from so far beyond me in the universe. And I am here to let it be created through me. Right. And so this is new, but this has been developing for the past 2 or 3 months. It's been coming through really strongly. And I'm so excited to share it with you because this is the time frame I was given that it must be shared, because all of these changes I've talked about today, all of these influences from Mars and Saturn and Uranus and Pluto, we need to make the absolute highest use of this time and all the gifts that can be given and can come through now. So I'm so excited to present to you this newest program, Into the Mythica, take the leap that will change your life. And through this program, I want to support you in this time of rapid and radical change. And this has a focus on mythology. So you're going to be encouraged to write the myth of your life, and then to write that in a very personal, future-oriented way. And then together, we're going to combine our myths. And in this community, together, we're going to actually create our new cosmology that will guide us into the future. So I invite you to come here to this page and check it out at your own pace. I'm going to put the link to this in the chat. And let me just show you a little bit about it here. And definitely stay on, because as I said, after this, we're going to do a shamanic journey that will be really powerful to life between lives. Okay. But this is the time where this question, what would you do if you knew you could not fail, is becoming extremely relevant for us, but not just relevant, like really, we've got to prioritize that, right? Whatever it is that you would do if you knew you could not fail, prioritize that now. Now is the time, as it says here. Now is the time. We're going to be extremely supported in the coming months and continuing through 2022 in making absolutely massive and much needed changes in our lives. But we've got to really very consciously choose and make sure that the changes that we implement are aligned. Okay, and there are really potent ways that we can work with these energies, step into alignment with the bigger plan unfolding around us, and really attune ourselves to the sacred instructions that we were just talking about, right? So that you can truly take the biggest leap forward of your life. So I'm here to guide you over these next 4 months to really take actions, make decisions, let your speech, your thoughts, all aspects of who you are, your deepest integrity, come into the highest vibration. Okay, so here's what you will learn how to do in the class. And again, you can come here and read more at your own pace, but I want to share with you the roadmap that we'll be following for this class. So we're going to take certain steps to hone and refine our ability to receive the sacred instructions from the universe. Then we're going to allow in the upgrades, the visions, the expanded consciousness, and the other forms of assistance that are continually being sent to us, because we've got to truly receive and fully integrate these so that we can do step 3, which is learning to embody and live every day in the highest energetic frequency of oneness, the frequency of creation itself. That is the space that we must create from. And as we move through more challenging energies, we're going to need to anchor more deeply into that frequency of oneness and frequency of creation. That is going to be our rock. That is going to be our roots that we keep coming back to guide us, to ground and center us every time we need it. And we want to make this really feel very natural, like it will become our habit to just be vibrating in the frequency of oneness. And then step 4, of course, is carrying out the sacred instructions. Even if other people think we're crazy, we want to get to a point where really that doesn't matter anymore, because we know we've got to do this, right? Even if it creates significant changes in our lives. And this is where we're going to take the big leap, right? This program is called Into the Mythica. Take the leap that will change your life. So let's do this together. And I'm going to show you about the curriculum here. So we will meet mostly on Fridays, but a couple of times it needs to be on Tuesdays because of the holidays, at the same time that this call started today at 11 a.m. New York time. If you can't attend live, or you can't attend all the classes live, it is okay, because they will all be recorded and the recordings will be sent out immediately afterwards to all registered attendees. So again, I invite you to come here, check it out for yourself. I'm just going to move fairly quickly through the modules so you can see where we're going. So we're going to begin at the beginning. We're going to return to the beginning and really step into a space of allowing you to be illuminated by your deep past. And every class, we're going to look at a specific mythological story or mythological characters that can guide us, okay? And this is because the mythology, the cosmologies that the ancient people created thousands and thousands or tens of thousands of years ago are deeply linked into our psyche and our understanding of reality, okay? And even how new forms are created is connected to the mythology, because the mythology was originally to explain how all creation occurred. So this mythology is really powerful. If you know anything about the god Loki, his wife is Sigyn, and Loki accidentally caused Ragnarok, which was the end of the world, destruction, apocalypse, right? The destruction of all things. And so we can look to this mythology to help us heal from our most difficult mistakes, our most difficult wounds, and even past lifetime, many, many lifetime ago wounds. So we're going to go deeply into that. And we're even going to look at our Neanderthal and Paleolithic path to gain new understandings about the power and adaptability of our human consciousness. So a powerful beginning here, and so much more, as you can see from the bullet points. Then in class 2, near the end of October, we're going to anchor and amplify your highest integrity and clarity. So for our mythology, we're going to look at these incredible structures of the pyramids of Giza and the Göbekli Tepe, which is in Turkey. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's completely amazing, and it's older than what they think the pyramids are, but I believe those are all actually about the same age, about 9,000 or 10,000 years ago they were built. Okay, Göbekli Tepe for sure. The pyramids is still under debate. But we are going to create within you an energetic foundation for miracles to occur. We're going to talk about neuroplasticity and our advanced ability to actually change the way that we think and react and perceive. We're going to eliminate negative and toxic energies from around you, and so much more, right? And this is where we begin cultivating this frequency of oneness and creation, which is we're going to deepen into that more and more and more as we go through these weeks. Then for class 3, we're going to talk about how to stay calm and centered in the midst of rapid change. And this is because the middle of November, about a week after this class, is when we'll have that eclipse on the 19th. We will have Mars opposing Uranus. And if you were born in 77, 78, or 79, Mars on your natal Uranus, that will be on November 17th and 18th. It's going to be really intense. And so I want you to have everything you need, right? The work we already did in the first 2 classes, plus this, is going to let you, by the time we get to that point, you will know how to work with these energies, okay? You will be really ready for the massive change that wants to come in. And so then rather than being toppled over by it or overwhelmed by it, you're going to be so centered. So this is quite possibly the most important lesson in the entire class, because here you're going to learn how to take big leaps with ease and grace, and you will have this to use again and again as a tool for the future. Because when we take a big leap, right, we create change. Like our system has to upgrade to meet that. So we've got to have these tools of how to stay calm and centered no matter what. Then November 23rd, we're going, which is a Tuesday. This is one of the few that's on a Tuesday, because in the US that Friday is a holiday. So we're going to really go on a trip into some other dimensions, parallel universes. And this is bringing in quantum physics. This is bringing in as well the Seth teachings, which are really powerful. And we're going to look at the mythology of Mama Cocha, which is an Incan mama, and Hecate, the goddess of the liminal space between worlds, the crossroads, and crossworlds as well. And so you're going to be guided into opening to the idea of parallel universes, which is a principle of quantum physics that can help us recalibrate our idea of who we even are and really move into deeply shifting our reality, both internal for ourselves, right, in our individual life, and shifting the collective reality. And we're going to do a beautiful collective project in this module and about the new cosmology that we're choosing. What are we really creating together? So this is for you to be creating individually, but also we're creating together in this space. It's going to be really powerful, and we'll continue to unfold that project and expand that project in the weeks to come. Then in class 5, we're going to deepen into receiving and carrying out the sacred instructions. So by the time you get to this point, you will be receiving the sacred instructions because of all the other deep work and meditations and the shamanic journeys we've done so far in the classes 1 through 4. In class 5, you'll really be receiving those instructions, okay? And we're going to go deeply into how to hone that, how to become very refined and clear in what you're receiving, so you can make sense of things that might have before seemed like nonsense, okay? You can get clarity on things that may have before seemed very ethereal as they were coming through. And we're going to work with dreams. We're going to work with visions. We're going to explore the interplay between imagination and reality, because truly, right, everything which humans have created has begun as an idea, a figment of the imagination. And when these imaginations come in, these inspirations come in, I mean, these are truly gifts from the divine intelligence. So we're going to work with these in a very powerful, profound way. Surrender being also a key part of that module. Then in class 6, you will be ready to take the leap that will change your life. And I'm going to really support you in this, okay? And even if you're not fully ready to take that leap, that action yet, this module is going to be about getting clear on what is the leap? What is the leap? And maybe you'll be ready to take it right away, or maybe you'll need more time. But either way, it's going to be a huge shift for you, okay? And some of the modules will have a question from a planet. So the question from Uranus here is, what is the radical act of courage and rebellion that will change everything? You're going to journey deeply into that. And also shamanic journey around what is the key and core sacred instruction that you've been receiving for quite some time. Because sometimes, right, going back to here, the sacred instructions, many times when it finally comes through, you'll realize you've been hearing this for a long, long, long time, and you're just finally now getting clarity on it, right? So what is that repeated instruction, and how can you say yes to it on all levels? I support you very strongly around that. Then in class 7, there's 8 classes in total, so we're almost there. So class 7, we're going to look at the immortality of your soul and dancing with your vaster mission across lifetimes. And for this, the mythology is really important to look at the Eleusinian mysteries, okay, where people would travel to the other side of death and come back, okay, in this, and it was a, we don't know exactly what they were doing, but it was some kind of an entheogenic journey where they were traveling to the other side of death and back. And when they came back, they would say, we are ready to live more fully because we are no longer afraid of death. Right, so seeing through the curtain of illusion, we're going to talk about reincarnation, life between lives, and really move into the space of once you fully accept the knowledge that you're immortal, that you never die, that death is only a doorway, it is not an ending, right? What will you now do differently? Really putting our lives in that very expanded consciousness. And then finally in module 8, you're going to write the new myth of your life. So at the beginning of the class, you wrote the myth of your life as you understood it at that time. Now that you've made all these transformations, all these changes will be at January 21st. All of those big planetary transits will have moved through. You'll be ready to write the new myth. So, guidance from Mars, spiritual warrior, now set yourself free. What is the new expanded myth that you're ready to write that goes beyond any potentials you could have imagined when you were standing at the beginning of this class? Right? And as it says here, this Rumi quote, everything in the universe is within you. Ask all from yourself. Yes, aho. We're going to have a beautiful closing circle ceremony where everybody will be invited to share about their journey, to share the new myth of their life. So it's going to be really very powerful ceremony. So you're all invited. And as Rumi says, what you seek is seeking you. This is truly the deepest and most potent class I've ever offered in a group format. I hope you can feel the power of it. This is going to be such a journey that we will be going on over the next 4 months. And I cannot wait to be in service to you in this way and to guide you and to bring through all that is communicated through me, and also to open up space for all that's going to be communicated through you in the class, right? This is going to be really, really powerful. So other than the mystery school, which is in a very different kind of category, right? This is the deepest and most potent class I've ever offered in this kind of format. And again, as it keeps coming through from my guides, it's really important for everyone to have access to this. So this is going to be available on a donation basis. Now, this would have been a fairly high price, regular price, and even a pretty substantial early bird price, but donation is what feels right. Donation is the sacred instructions that I'm getting, and I really, really trust that. I deeply trust that. Because this is the time we've got to do this deepest work now that we possibly can, so we can take our biggest leaps forward in 2022 and beyond. And this is really for the future of all of us, right? For the future of our children, for the future of the earth. Well, the earth will be fine. We know she'll be fine, but we want to be here. We want to be a part of that. So, this is the time when we as humanity have the opportunity to change, and let's create this tidal wave of humans who are ready to take the leap and open the path to unimaginably beautiful future realities. So if you'd like to join, just come here. I'll add this in on YouTube as soon as I can. It's wearesacredplanet.com/ and then it's into the Mythica, those 3 words just hyphenated. But also look in the description on YouTube and look in the chat for the link. And if you click on that, oh, you know what? Hold on. It's not coming here. Here's the link, everybody. So yes, go to that link and click and just scroll down to the button, and you can see, click here to submit your donation and join the class. And I would love to have you join me. If you scroll down a little bit below that, you can see the following radical understandings that Into the Mythica is based on. I really invite you to read through this. This explains the mythological component and why that's so important. And Jean, your any donations are welcome. So really and truly, I invite everybody to donate the amount that feels right to your heart and soul. Okay. And so for some, that any number is okay, Jean. I want you to know any number is okay. And Valerie's asking, is this different from alchemy, astrology, and magic? This is very different from that. Of course, it has ultimately as its goal, right, a deep, profound raising of consciousness. But alchemy, astrology, and magic is focused on the alchemical process and ritual work to achieve our next level of consciousness. This is focused on working with the planetary influences over the next 4 months, which are going to be extremely potent and really very much a part of our lives. And we want to be able to optimally navigate those. So they're 2 different classes, and they are going to be running somewhat at the same time. So it's up to you if you would like to do both, or if you just want to stick with one. Of course, whatever is fine. Whatever is right for you is fine, but they are 2 very different classes. Okay, so I invite you all to join. I would love to share with you now a powerful shamanic journey. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here. Into the life between lives. Thank you, Erhard. I had some very healing vegetable soup actually before this call, so I am in really good shape. But thank you for looking out for me. I appreciate that. That was very kind of you. I am just pulling up my link so I can give you guys a drum beat and or a musical link to listen to during this journey. Okay, so in the chat, go ahead and look for a drum beat. Okay, so, well, first of all, music, meditation music, or a drum beat. Click on one of those links and just let it get started up. And this is going to be what you listen to while we go into the shamanic journeying space and the meditative space. And I'm going to bring up a beautiful image that you can gaze at during the journey. This is a white peony with purple edges. Isn't that so beautiful? Okay, so go ahead and start up that music or the drum beat if you haven't already, and get really comfortable in your space. And you can lay down if you want, or you can be sitting up with your spine straight, or you can even be moving about your space if that feels right for you. Trust your body and what it needs right now. And let the drum beat or the music take your consciousness deep within you. Let your awareness and your consciousness move out of your thinking mind and down into the core of your being. Maybe that's into your heart. Maybe that's into your solar plexus, somewhere in the very core and center of you. And begin breathing into that space in the center. Taking a deep breath in, breathing in, filling up your heart and your lungs and your core of your being with all the oxygen, all the sunlight, all the magic that surrounds you. And then breathe out, releasing, relaxing, and continue with this deeper pattern of breathing. And now invite a guide who's going to assist you today, and just welcome in whoever shows up for you first. Really trust. This might be an animal, power animal. This might be an angel. This might be one of your ancestors. Might even be a tree or a planet. Really trust whoever shows up for you. And then together with this guide, they're going to take you and you're going to travel very quickly to the life between lives dimension of reality. So they're going to take you up and out of the Earth's atmosphere, out into what seems to be the cosmos. But you're going to realize that it's a little different here. And you see before you a council of wisdom keepers. And your guide is going to bring you to stand here out in the middle of the cosmic realms. Stand before this council of wisdom keepers. And this council is telling you now why you're here. So they're telling you that you have arrived at the life between lives dimension. Now, normally people only arrive here if once they have passed away, once they have left the three-dimensional body. But you are being given a chance to journey here and to meet with this council to learn more about your purpose. Because this is the space where we sign the soul contracts before we come into the lifetime. This is the space where we decide what we wanted to learn, what we wanted to experience that would be for our highest evolution. And so this council is going to show you those soul contracts, going to show you the reasons why you chose certain experiences, certain challenges in this lifetime. So go ahead and open up to what they want to show you. And they might show it to you on a piece of paper, or they might show it to you on almost like a movie screen. So really trust what you see. They're going to show you all about your life and why it is this way. So tune in and listen to what they have to say. Then as you're receiving this information from this council, go ahead and ask them. So in light of all that I have chosen for this lifetime, what is the one key action or the one key plan that needs to be my highest priority in the coming few months? Go ahead and ask them that and just see what they say. Just see what they show you. So taking in this information and just check in with your heart now based on what you've received here from this council. And if there's any other question in your heart, go ahead and ask the council. There might be something else important that you need to know from them. So go ahead and ask it now, whatever that question is in your heart. And now it's time to go. Time to travel back with your guide through the space and time dimensions, coming back into the present moment. And thank your guide for going with you on this journey. Thank them for traveling with you, guiding you, and protecting you. And know that you can come back together with this guide anytime that you wish. They are here for you. They are here to help and support you. And then letting your guide leave. And now bringing your attention back to your breathing. So taking a deep breath in to the very core of your being. And notice how your energy has changed now that you've received this information, that you more deeply understand who you are in this lifetime and what are the priorities that are needed in the next few months. Just notice how this is anchored and felt in your heart and throughout your being. And release that breath, releasing, relaxing. And go ahead and maybe wiggle your fingers or your toes a little bit, coming back into physical reality. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody. And I always, after doing a journey like this, I welcome you to get out your journal or notebook, take some notes, write down whatever was really important that came through for you. I'm going to put the link in the chat once again here to join into the Mythica if you would like to. And I really hope that you will join me if it feels true for you. If it feels aligned, if it feels like the right next step for you, I would love to have you join me in this class. And we will travel together, very, very deep, very profound adventures together from October 15th until January 21st. So much love, everybody. I'm going to close the call now. Thank you so much for attending live, those who are on here live today. And definitely for those who are watching this as a recording as well. Thank you. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for answering the call to be here to receive this information, and blessings for all that you're doing, all that you're creating, your meditations, your projects, your plans, your relationships, your careers. I send you all so much love. Mwah, and many blessings. And I'll see you again.